Hello there. What's up? I'm just hoping that you are still fine at this moment. You're still kicking, smiling, despite the with that so many activities. Okay? Sana okay pa rin tayo, no? Sana masaya pa rin tayo. Sana all masaya. Biro lang, ano. Before we will start with the next chapter, which is chapter 2, to discuss the program structures and basic syntaxes. If you have any questions regarding the previous topics we have discussed before, okay, until now kasi I did not receive yet any um, feedback or queries dun sa GC natin. Again pinapalala ko lang, if you have any question, kung may hindi malinaw sa discussion natin, huwag kayong mahiyang magtanong dun sa GC natin. Alright? Okay. So, we will start with this chapter, program structures and basic syntaxes. Ano-ano yung mga dapat nating discuss sa chapter nito. Okay? So, first we will be discussing program structures and then saka natin i-discuss mamaya yung mga basic syntaxes. Alright? So, we have here, what is a program structure? Actually, it is a control structure, or a control structure is like a block of programming that analyzes variables and chooses a direction in which to go based on given parameters. Okay, so this is in programming. It analyzes, or your program will analyze a variable or those statements, and then it will choose where to go or the direction. Pupunta ba siya doon, or it will execute this code or this code? Okay? So, basing from a decision of your program, i-base niya dun sa may condition natin. Okay? So, we will elaborate more as we go on, as we go to our the next slides. Right? So, we have here the following the structured program theorem. All programs are seen as composed of control structures. So we have here a different control structures as mentioned a while ago. First is the sequence. Then we have here also selection, iteration. So what is sequence? Okay, so sequence, we have here your statements are ordered or subroutines executed in sequence. When we say statement, yung mga codes natin yung mga codes nyo, let's say for example sa Visual Studio, your codes in Visual Studio, those are your statements. Statements are ordered from top to bottom. Pababa yan. Sequence nga, di ba? So, statement number 1, statement number 2, statement number 3. So, that is the sequence. Okay? Isa-isahin natin mamaya or elaborate pa natin kung anong sequence, ano ang selection, ano ang iteration. Kasi meron ding mga per topic. Okay? Next is selection. One or a number of statements is executed depending on the state of the program. This is usually expressed with keywords such as if, then, else, then we have the end if word or statement or keywords, I mean. Okay? So in this, unlike select or sequence, those statements are executed in order. Okay? From top to bottom. In selection naman, okay, your statements are executed basing from a condition or conditions. Okay? Kung i-execute niya ba yung statement na to, statement A or statement B? If, then, it will execute this. Otherwise, it will execute the other one. Okay? So that is selection. Mamimili yung program kung ano yung i-execute niya. If it's statement A or statement B. Okay? So that is selection. And the last program structure or control structure is, we have here the iteration. Iteration, paulit-ulit. Parang siya lang, paulit-ulit. Ang joke yun, tawa naman. O iteration, a statement of block is executed until the program reaches a certain state. Halimbawa, sabihin natin, gawin mo itong gawin mo itong statement or gawin mo itong pinapagawa ko sa iyo hangga't hindi pa gabi. Okay? So pag hindi pa gabi, ginagawa niya yung pinapagawa mo. Kapag gabi na, okay, hindi na niya gagawin. Okay? So that is iteration. So only I'd say here, this is usually expressed with the keywords such as while, repeat, for, or do until. Okay? Only have only have one entry point and one exit point. Papasok yan, only one entry, and then gagawin niya, and then mag-exit na yan kung tapos na. So that is the explanation. It has only one entry point and one exit point. Alright? So those are the different control structures: sequence, selection, and iteration. Okay? First, we will see this one, this figure. So pag statement, ito yan. As I said a while back, your statements, halimbawa ito yung statement number 1, statement number 2, statement number 3. So, your program will execute this statement, and then after na-execute ito, it will execute the next statement. And then it will execute the next statement. So in sequence, mandatory lahat ng statements ma-execute or gagawin ng program. Kung ano yung pinapagawa mo dito, kung ano yung pinapagawa mo doon, kung ano yung papagawa mo doon, gagawin niya lahat in order from top to bottom. So that is sequence. Unlike unlike selection, we have here a flowchart. Okay, this is the condition. Is the condition is true or false? If the condition is true or yes, it will execute this statement. Then exit. If the condition here is false or no, it will execute this statement, then exit. So kung napansin nyo dito, isa-isa lang yung statement na i-execute niya. Unlike yung sa previous, lahat ng statements i-execute niya. Okay? For selection, mamimili siya. It's either statement A or statement B. Okay? Isang statement lang. Alright? So that is selection and iteration. We have here, we have the condition. If, let's say, depende sa condition mo, kung yes, okay, gawin niya yung statement, balik siya, na-reach na ba, alas 5 na ba, hindi pa, okay, gawin niya, balik, alas 5 na ba, hindi pa, balik, alas 5 na ba, oo, okay, tapos na. So that is iteration. Iteration is also called as loop. Alright? Next, these control structures can be combined. It can be combined. So yung sequence, iteration, and selection, it can be combined. So maaring sequence muna yung nasa taas, and then may selection, and then inside that selection, ay merong looping. Okay? Pwedeng ganun. So pwedeng i-combine ang mga yan. Okay? Kaya natin pinapag-aralan ang mga yan para, yun nga, pwede nating gamitin lahat-lahat. Hindi naman sa meron tayong mga choices na ganyan, puro na lang selection. Okay? Hindi naman, hindi ganon. Okay? So, maaring gamitin natin ang lahat-lahat ng mga yan. Alright? So, yun yung sinabi dito. It can be combined. A sequence may contain several loops. A loop may contain loop nested within it. Or the two branches of a conditional may each contain sequences with loops and more conditional. Okay? So, pwedeng halo-halo yan. Sa loob ng loop, meron pang loop sa loob. At merong sequence. At merong conditional sa loob. Okay? So, that is the program structure. Okay? Now, we will elaborate each program structure one by one. Sequence, this is the default control structure. It is the default, or this is the default. Kahit siguro, sabihin natin, hindi ka marunong gumawa ng selection. So, ilagay mo lang, and then yun na yun. I-type mo lang yung code mo, and then gagawin niya, execute niya line by line or sequence by sequence. So this is the default control structure. Instructions are executed one after another, as we said a while back. Okay? And then, we have here, this means that the computer will run your code in order. Yun, in order from top to bottom. One line at a time from top to bottom of your program. It will start at line 1, then execute line 2, then line 3, and so on and so forth. So that is sequence. We have here an example of sequence. Okay, example number 1. Combine the liquid ingredients. After you combine the liquid ingredients, next, add the dry ones. Okay? So, parang ganun lang. So, gagawin niya, magko-combine siya ng liquid and then mag-add siya ng dry ones. So, gagawin niya yung mga statements na yan step by step. Another is, nag-declare siya ng, nag-assign siya ng value. My age gets the value of 12. We have here. And then, after declaring or assigning the value, print. Next year, I will be, yun yung i-print niya. So, lalabas sa screen mo, next year, I will be, then, 12, which is my age before yung value niya, which is 12 plus 1. So, your age today is 12. Now, by next year, you will be plus 1, 13. In 2 years, you will be, yan. In 3 years, you will be like that. So, i-execute niya first statement, next statement, line by line. Next, we have here, we assign a value of radius to 5 and then pi to 3.14. Okay? After assigning, after binasa ng program mo yan, next line. Okay? So, we will do the calculations here. Okay? So, we have here, you're assigning the value of a value to this area. Okay? So, radius from the previous 5 multiplied by the radius, okay, times pi. Okay? To get the area. Okay? And then, yun yung sagot dito, ibibigay natin kay this area. So, this area is equal to kung ano yung value na kinumpit niya dito. So, as you can see, these statements are executed line by line, one after another. Alright? So, that is the sequence. Next is selection. It says here, it will allow a program to follow alternative path or execution. Path A or path B. Okay? Sometimes you only want some lines of codes to be run only if a condition is met. So, hindi naman, halimbawa, naglagay ka doon, compulsory ba na gagawin niya lahat ang ganito? Hindi. Halimbawa, gawin na lang natin dito. Kung 13 years old siya, ibigay mo yung ganitong module. Kung 14 years old, itong module ang ibigay mo. Okay. So, pwede, ito, selection. Kung pumunta yung estudyante, halimbawa, ilang taon ka na? 13. So, yung pang 13 years old ang ibigay mo. Kung ilagay natin doon sa may sequence, line by line, so pati yung kung 13 years old siya, ibigay ko yung module na pang 13 at ibigay ko yung module na pang 14. Kasi kailangan gawin ko lahat. Kailangan gawin ng program lahat ng statements na meron doon. Okay? Now, what if meron kang ibang statements na ayaw mong ipagawa sa computer or program? So, you will use selection. It's either this one or this one. So, basing from the condition, okay? Depende na kung ano yung ilalagay mo sa condition, kung ano yung sasabihin mo doon, and then the program will follow. Okay? Your program will decide kung or which statements will be executed. Kung ano yung gagawin niya. Ito ba or ito? So, that is selection. So, we will look at this example. Example number 1. If the tomatoes are fresh, then simmer them or luto mo. But if canned, skip this step. Ano daw? Kung fresh daw yung tomato, tomatoes. Okay? Luluto mo. Pero, kapag nakalagay sa lata, lulutong pa ba? Luto na yon. So, skip this step. Wala kang gagawin. Hindi mo na iluluto, kainin mo na lang siguro. So, ito, ang statement natin, iluluto. Iluluto niya. So, kapag fresh yung tomato, iluluto niya. Pero pag hindi fresh or nakalata, hindi na niya iluluto. Okay? So, isa lang ang gagawin niya dito. Halimbawa, binigay yung tomato, fresh. So, anong gagawin niya? Iluluto niya. Okay? Binigay yung tomato, nakalata. Nandun sa lata, kumbaga, na-process na. Okay? So, anong gagawin niya? Hindi na niya iluluto. So, hindi niya gagawin yung isa, kumbaga. Okay? So, mamimili siya kung gagawin niya yung statements or hindi. Example number 2. If the length of your password is less than 8, some programs actually requires if you are creating a password, okay? Yan. Some programs requires more or 8 or more than characters. 8 characters or more than, all right? So let's say if let's say you type 2 characters only for your password. So your program will check your password or the number of characters. If the length of your password is less than 8, as I said a while back, your password is only 2 characters. So that is true. Our condition here, this is the condition, our condition here is true. Let's say your password is 2. Okay? Is your password, the length of your password is less than 8? True. So it will say, or it will prompt this string. Your password is not valid, or your password is too short. Okay? Otherwise, let's say your password is the number of characters is 8. Is the length of your password is less than 8? False. Diba? False na yon kasi hindi naman less than 8 ang 8. So it will not display this string, or it will not prompt this string. Okay? So that is conditional. Meron pa, example number 3. If timer is less than or equal 0, or number of lives is equal to 0, then what happened? It will print game over. An enemy has been slain. Okay? You have been slain. Medyo lang. Ito, kapag yung timer wala ng time at ubos na yung lives mo, mag-prompt game over. Okay? Hindi naman mag-game over yan kapag meron ka pang time or kapag meron pang lives or yung buhay, yung character. Okay? So, hindi basta-basta mag-display ang game over. Okay? So, ito, ginagawa lang niya kung yung isa. Isa lang. Okay? So, that is conditional structure. Next is iteration. Iteration. Okay, in iteration or looping gives computers much of their power. Oh, in looping, mas marami yung nakagagamit na memory. They can repeat a sequence of steps as often as necessary, and appropriate repetitions of quiet, simple steps can solve complex problems. Sometimes you want the computer to execute same lines of codes several times. This is done using loop. Okay, so we have 3 different types of loops: for loops, while loops, and repeat until loops. Okay, how about if you want your program to execute just a single statement, isang code lang. Now, gusto mong gawin niya yan paulit-ulit hanggang 10 times or hanggang hindi pa alas 5. Halimbawa, ito, gagawin niya ito or nagre-ring dapat yung telepono, okay? Nagre-ring dapat hanggat hindi pa niya binababa sa kabila. So, anong mangyayari? So your statement is ring. Halimbawa, isang statement lang, ring. Yun lang. Okay? So, you will be using iteration or loop. So, once yung condition is, binaba na ba sa kabila? No. So, keeps on ringing. Ring. Binaba na ba sa kabila? Hindi pa. Ring. Binabasan ba sa kabila? Hindi pa. Ring. Ring. It keeps on ringing until hindi pa binababa sa kabila. Once na binaba na sa kabila, kumbaga, mag-stop na yan. So that is iteration. Iisa lang yung statement mo, which is mag-ring ang telepono, okay? So that is the statement. Now, ang ginawa ng program, ginawa ng statement paulit-ulit. Depende dun sa binigay natin na condition. So it will execute your statement a number of times. It depends or basing from the given condition. Okay? So we have here an example for this iterative or loop. Beat the egg whites until they form soft peaks. So what is your statement and what is your condition here? Okay? So for this, your statement here, when you say statement, this is or these are the actions you want your program to execute. Okay? Saan yung action dito? Beat the eggs. So, anong ang Tagalog? Ilocano. Beat. Ng egg. O basta ganun, mag-beat ka ng egg. Okay? Until they form soft peaks. So, this is the condition naman. They form soft peaks. So, ginagawa mo yun. Nagbabati. Pangit. Nagbabati ka ng itlog. Okay? Kapag nandun na yung they form soft peaks, stop. Pero pag hindi pa nag-form ng soft peaks, sige, bati lang ng bati. Paano lang ng bati? Okay? Mga green-minded dyan, ha? Okay, bati lang ng bati, and then kapag nag-soft peaks na, stop. So that is iteration. Isa lang yung statement natin, ginagawa niya pa ulit-ulit. Another example. Sorry. Review. Alright. Input. Press X to exit, sabi na dito. Halimbawa na lang, let's say, sa elevator. Hanggat hindi pa siya nagpe-press ng X, kumbaga, kahit ibahin natin ang example, hanggat hindi pa siya nagpe-press ng X, hindi nagbubukas yung elevator. Okay? Sa parang yung program mo, nagpindot na ba siya ng X? Or yung input ba niya ay X? Hindi pa. So, close yung elevator natin. Check niyo ulit. Loop. Check niyo ulit. Nag-press na ba siya ng X? Hindi pa. Still, close. Nag-press na ba siya ng X? Yes. Open. Pwede na lumabas. So, ginagawa niya still close. Okay? Kapag ginawa na niya yung kung anong pinapagawa mo sa kanya, tsaka na niya mag-stop, i-stop na niya kung anong ginagawa niya. Okay? Or example number 3, we have here, we declare a value, assign a value to timer, 10. Habang hindi raw, while timer is greater than 0, carry on playing. Sasabihin niya, carry on playing. Okay? So, timer less 1. So, naging 9. Carry on playing. 8. Carry on playing. 8, 5, 4, 3, then 1. So, this will not display carry on playing. Maybe it will display game over. Okay? So, looping. Loop. So, this is iterative or iteration or loop or looping. Okay? So, those are the... Okay, I have here an example. A question, I mean. Now, how do you keep a programmer in the shower room or shower all day? Paano? Paano nyo i-stop yung isang programmer sa shower room sa isang araw? Just simply give him a bottle of shampoo which says, bigyan mo siya ng shampoo na merong instruction doon. Says here, lather, rinse, repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. Loop. Diba? Sabi ko, loop. It's either loop or repeat. Lather, pabulain, rinse, Hugasan, and then repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. Oh, nandun na siya sa shower room. Okay? The whole day. Okay? Kasi repeat. Pero hindi yan programmer, lather, rinse, and then repeat. O, tama na. Huwag na niyang ulitin yan. Okay? So, ano lang naman yan. Nakopya ko lang yan. Okay? So, we have here, okay, we are done with the program structures. Next, we have here the basic syntaxes. These syntaxes are based from Visual Studio. Kung ano yung ginagamit natin or kung ano yung gagamitin natin. So, for this programming or this course, we will be using Visual Studio or visualbasic.net. Okay? Now, what is a syntax? What is a syntax? Yes. Anong syntax? Tama. Okay, tama yung sinabi mo. You're right. Okay? So, again, ulitin ko lang yung sinabi mo kanina. Yung nasa isipan mo, yung binanggit mo kanina. Syntax, this is your basis on how to do the code. This is your guide on how to do the code. For example, the syntax on how to show a form. This is the syntax. Syntax is not a code. It's just a basis. Halimbawa, a basis on how to, sa English, wag na siguro. May na ako dyan eh. Okay, right here. Syntax on how to show a form. So we have here the syntax. First is the form name. You need to mention the form name. Where then we have here the dot and then show on how to show a form or form name dot show dialog. Yun yung syntax niya. Okay, example. The form name here is form 1. Example is form 1, FRM main, FRM login. Okay? So ito, yung pangalan ng form na gusto mong ipakita ay form 1. Okay? So form 1.show. Yung pangalan ng form na gusto mong i-display ay FRM main. So FRM main.show. You need to mention the name of the form and then attach this method, .show. So ang mangyayari dito, si FRM main magpapakita or magdi-display. FRM login.show dialog. So what is the difference of show and .show dialog methods? Yung .show, magpapakita lang yung form. Hindi ko na nagpakita ko ng sample dito. Okay? .show, magpakita lang ng form and then pwede kang mag-click sa kahit saan sa screen. So that is show. When you say .show dialog, hindi mo pwedeng i-click sa background. Kailangan mo munang, halimbawa, ito, FRM login.show dialog. You need to type your username and password and then it's either you click on OK or cancel before ka mag-click sa kabila. Kasi naka-show dialog. So, para siyang message box. Kapag nag-prompt ang message box, halimbawa, ganyan, hindi mo pwedeng i-click yung sa kabila. Kailangan mo lang i-close yung message box para makapag-click ka. Ang message box, naka-show dialog yan. Okay, so that is the syntax and example on how to show a form. On how to hide, just the same with showing a form, but then the methods used is .hide naman. The form name, the name of the form, .hide. Form1.hide and FRM main.hide. If you want to hide form or FRM main. Okay, next we have here. Before we'll proceed to the next syntaxes we have here, I just want to show you this. So this is a parent form and these are a child. Or children pala. Okay? So in a form, pwede kayong, let's say, inside a form, a parent form, okay, bubutasan natin yung gitna. So this, with the use of MDI container. So MDI container will allow many forms or forms to display inside it. Okay? Ito, binutasan natin and then inside this form, pwede tayo magbukas ng mga forms. So parang ganyan, ito. So inside this form, pwede kang buksan. So ito yung parent, ito yung child. Now, paano naman mag-display ng child or children sa loob ng parent na form na merong MDI container? Okay. Syntax in showing a form inside an MDI container. So we have here the syntax, form name dot the name of the parent form equal to me. You need to set or you need to tell the program or yes the computer kung sino sa kanila ang parent. So let's say FRM parent. Okay? Ito yung parent. Sorry. Let's say you want to display form 1 inside FRM parent. Okay, so sabihin mo sa program, form 1. Form 1. Ang parent mo ay ako. Me means you are coding inside MDI container or FRM parent. Okay? Form 1, ang parent mo ay ako. Now, pwede mo nang ipakita sa form 1. Magdi-display na sa loob ng parent. Or, we have here. Form 1, ang parent mo ay si FRM parent before mo siya i-display. Okay? So, ganun yun. Example, FRM student that MDI parent equal to me. So, means you are displaying FRM parent inside the MDI parent form, which is me. Me kasi, kung saang form ka nagko-code, gamitin mo na yung me. Okay? Halimbawa, dun ka sa FRM parent, nag-double click ka doon ka naglagay ng code. Kapag tinype mo doon FRM parent, mag-error yan. Instead, use me, sabi niya. So, me. Okay? So, me here is referring to that form kung saan ka nagko-code. Okay? Or, FRM student, that MDI parent equal FRM main. Then, before mo i-display ang student dun sa FRM main. So, dito lang sa first line, you are telling the computer program that the parent of FRM student is FRM main. Before siya pwedeng lumabas. So parang hindi ka pwedeng lalabas sa parent kung hindi mo yan parent. Basta ganun. Okay. Syntax in modifying a property of an object. So we are referring on objects or we are working with objects. Kasi nga object-oriented programming. Now, how to change or modify a property of an object? What are those properties? Halimbawa, TextBox. Paano mo palitan ang kanyang text? Paano mo palitan ang kanyang color? Paano mo palitan ang ganito? Okay? So we have here the different or the syntax. So control name, the name of the control you want to modify, dot the property you want to modify equal sign and then the new value. For example, ito, TextBox 1. Yun yung control name. So, ibig sabihin, you want to modify some property of TextBox 1. So, yun. That text. So, in here, you want to modify the text property of TextBox 1 equal hello. Ibig sabihin, you want to type hello dun sa TextBox 1. Yun yun. Kung ano yung property na linagay mo dito, make sure na yun yung value. Hindi pwede yung textbox1.text equal red. Color yun. Halimbawa, VB red. Text naman yun. You want to change the text. Ba't mo mapalit ang color? Text hindi pwede. Kung text, dapat string. Okay? Isa pa, txt name, you want to change the text property of txt name. Manggagaling yan sa ibang text box. So, kung ano yung laman or text ni txt first, yun yung nilagay niyo doon. btn, okay. The button, okay. You want to disable. Enabled equal false. Ibig sabihin, yung enabled property niya naka-false, ibig sabihin, naka-disable. Or, you want to change the back color of the label display into blue. Dati kasi ang back color niya kumbaga ay red. papalitan mo na siya ngayon ng blue. So, ito yung sinasabi ko. Kapag back color, make sure color din ito. Hindi pwedeng LBL display that back color equal string hello. Okay? So, that is the basic syntax on how to modify a property of an object. Okay? Next, on how to use a method. On how to use a method. Method, we will discuss that method dun sa next chapters. By the way, method, magbibigay lang ako ng idea. Method, ito yung, kumbaga, yun lang method na yon, may mga codes. Ito, halimbawa na lang ito. Mayroon tayo dito. So, this is the method name. Clear all. So, once na ginamit mo ang clear all, ito yung gagawin niya. Meron siyang code. That focus, meron siyang code dun sa focus na yon. Meron na nagawang method. So, pwede kang gumawa ng sarili mong method or gamitin mo na lang yung mga method na available sa mga objects. So, again, the syntax here is the control name dot method and then the open and close parentheses. Halimbawa ito. Ang codes lang naman nito ay yung ID daw, yung laman niya, yung text niya ay mag-clear. Same through with the text box name, mag-clear, yung address mag-clear. So, yun yung laman ng method na clear all. Now, dun sa clear button mo, balik tayo, mali. Dun sa clear button, so yung code mo lang ay clear all. So, hanapin ng program, what is clear all? Hanapin niya, clear all is, i-clear ko yung ID, i-clear ko yung name, i-clear ko pa yung address. So, gagawin na niya. So, mag-clear yung mga label text boxes na mga yon. Okay? Save. After mag-save, mag-clear. Para naman susunod, mag-type ka ulit. And then, save. Mag-type ka ulit. So, after mo mag-save, mag-clear. Okay? So, ano nang clear? Hanapin niya, ito yung clear. Okay, gagawin na niya ulit. So, parang, tinype mo lang yung codes mo once and then ginamit mo lang yung pangalan niya. Binanggit mo lang, minention mo lang, o tinawag mo lang yung pangalan ng method. And gagawin na niya kung ano yun. Now, tignan natin. What if hindi ka gumamit ng method na clear all? Wala yung code na yan. So, pag click mo ng clear, yung code mo ay ganito. You need to type this one. Now, dun sa save naman, siya rin lang. After mag-save, mag-clear dapat. So, you need to type the save codes plus, meron pa ito, paulit-ulit. Ilang beses ka nag-type ng ganyan. Okay, meron siyang copy-paste, pero humaba na yung program or yung codes mo. Dahil nga, paulit-ulit yung codes mo. Kung the same rin lang, paulit-ulit, gumamit ka na lang ng method. Okay? So, again, ang purpose natin dito ay yung method, syntax lang naman. So, the control name, text the ID, that, the method you want to use or perform. And then the open and close parentheses. Okay? So, here naman, syntax in giving a value to a variable. Giving a value. So, parang algebra lang yan. X gets the value of 1. X equal 10. Parang ganyan. So, the variable name equal then the value. Just for example, you're assigning 0 to counter. It means the value of counter here is 0. You're assigning 1 to x. Means the value of x is 1. You are storing or assigning John, the word John, to names. It means whenever I call or use the word or the variable names, it always display John. Isa pa. Ito naman, nag-declare pa siya ng variable. Dim counter as integer equals 0. Ibig sabihin, you assigned 0 to counter at the same time nag-declare ka pa ng variable. Yun yung next na syntax. Or with here, counter equal the value, new value. Or you're assigning x. What is x? Let's say from the previous statement, x. Okay, 1 pala yung x. So, you're assigning 1 to counter. So, what is the value of counter? The value of x. What is the value of x? 1. So, in short, the value of counter here is 1. Okay? Syntax naman on how to declare a variable. Again, this syntaxes we have discussed is the syntax in Visual Studio or Visual Basic, I mean. Okay? Kasi sa Java, sa ibang programming languages, iba-iba. Iba din yung syntaxes. Okay? Dim variable name as the data type. We have here the word dimension, or dim in short, then the name of the variable, then the word, uh, yung statement or yung keyword na as, and then the data type. Okay? So for example, dim, yun na yun. The variable name is counter. The word, the statement as, and then the data type, which is integer. So you declare a variable named counter. It means, integer. It means lahat ng sinesave mo kay counter ay puro integer value. Puro whole number lang. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-save sa counter ng A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Puro integer lang. Name is school. You declare a variable name school. Then you assign the data type yung string. It means, so sa declaration mismo, alam mo na kung ano ang pwedeng i-save or i-store kay school. String. Okay? Answer, boolean. Is either true or false. Okay? Yun lang ang pwede mong i-declare or i-save kay or store kay answer. Hindi ka pwede mag-store ng string na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, or ABC. Ganyan. Okay? So that is the syntax on how to declare a variable. So dun sa declaration mismo, malalaman natin kung anong type of data ang mag-store sa mga variables na yan. Just because of their type of data or data type. Okay? We have here, second to the last slide, we have here the syntax on how to display a message box. So, ito yung pinakasimple. The word or MSG box, open parenthesis, the string inside, kung ano yung message na gusto mong mag-display, and then close parenthesis. So, this is the syntax. Or, another syntax is message box or MSG box, the message, ito, of course, ang message natin is string, so we need to enclose it with double quotes. Then, comma, if you want to include the buttons or buttons plus icons. Okay? Comma, and then the title of the message box. Tingnan natin mamaya sa example. Ito yung pinaka-simple. Ito yung example natin dito sa first syntax. May MSG box. So this will display ito. Invalid username. Try again. Ito yung sample ng yung default. Yung pinaka-simple. This menu will undo an operation. Okay, yun lang. Wala siyang icon. Wala siyang kung ano ng buttons. Okay lang. So ito naman, pangalawang syntax. MSG box. Do you want to save your file? So ibig sabihin, yes, no, yung button. Buttons. Button. So ibig sabihin, ang makikita mo sa message box, meron siyang yes na button, meron siyang no na button. Aside from the two buttons, we have here VB critical, the icon, just for example here. And then the title of the message box is saving file. So dito sa sample natin, the title is warning. Yun yung kasulat dito, warning. The icon, let's say VB critical, ito. Meron siyang ganyan. And then the value or the message. And then the buttons. Kung ano yung sinabi mong buttons dito. So yun na yung lalabas. So those are the two syntaxes on how to display message box. Okay? O last. Marami pa actually, pero ito na muna. Syntax on how to pass a text from TextBox to another. Syntax on how to pass the text property or the text from TextBox to another TextBox in another form. So parang ito. Form 1. Ito. Then form 2. Now, nagta-type ka dito. Gusto mo ipasa yung tinype mo dito, punta doon. So, ano yung gagawin mo? Ito yung syntax niya. The form name kung saan mo ilalagay or ipapasa. Sa form na yon, limbawa form 1, form 3. Ang form 1, meron siyang text box. Ang form 3, meron siyang text box. Or form 2, I mean. So, form 1, ito, inside that form 1, you want to change the text property of that text box. So, inside this form, meron siyang text box. Saan manggagaling yung text na ilalagay niya dito? Manggagaling dito. Sa form 2, yung text box na to, kunin mo yung text niya, ililipat mo doon. Okay? So, for example, for FRM display, the name of the form, lumbaga ito, txt name, nandito yung txt name inside FRM display, that text, okay? Manggagaling yung text niya sa FRM main, ibang form, that text, txt name, that text. So in short, we have here, you are getting the text within txt name inside FRM main. Let's say, hello yung text. You are getting the word hello. Saan mo ilalagay? Ilalagay mo sa text box na txt name. Yung text niya, ilalagay mo doon na nasa FRM display. Okay? We have here the form 1, or form name 1, the name of the destination form, and form name 2, the name of the source form. Okay? Kung saan manggagaling, dalhin niyo doon. Parang variable lang din yan. From right to left. Okay? Question? Question. Anong tanong? Yes, ano yon? Tanong. Tanong? Okay. Kung walang tanong, or mamaya siguro, after nyo na after pumasok sa isipan niyo itong mga to, baka merong tanong. Okay? So, if you have questions, again, wag maiyang magtanong. Don't forget, just write your question, type your question in our GC and then send it. Wag kayo mahiya. Okay? And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Sabi ni John Ray, madami na yung subscribers ko. So yun na. Mag-subscribe sa YouTube, to my YouTube channel, and of course, don't forget to hit the notification bell para ma-inform kayo agad-agad. Ma-notify kayo agad-agad. Alright, so we have here, we discussed the different control structures and the basic syntaxes in Visual Basic 2010. So, yun muna for now. Paalam!